It's me. This is weird, being super far away from the computer, but I'll be up close in a minute as I go through emails. I wanted to discuss a couple things, a couple changes that are taking place. Hey Joseph, good to see you. I was doing live streams Wednesdays. Hey Slime, hey Beanie. I was doing live streams on Wednesdays and Fridays, and it just leaves me like 2 days in between, and it's kind of just like cramping my style. And I have a bunch of work coming up, and I'm going to be working super early, so the super early uh, Wednesday live streams aren't going to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch things up till Tuesday. So Tuesday early morning live streams from now on. So this won't be a super long live stream tonight. We're just going to cover a couple things. I'm really stoked about my room. I've finally gotten, as you guys know, we hadn't moved in here that long ago. So I finally got all the furniture and everything I wanted. And I actually now have a dining room and a living room. And I already had the kitchen stuff going on because I'm nuts about cooking. But, had to do the stove thing. All that shit's finally over. And as some of you may have seen as the title, and I'll be there to look at it all in view, Your Neighbor's Dogs. And I would encourage all of you during this live stream to discuss your neighbor's fucking dogs. And I'm going to discuss some things about my neighbor's fucking dogs. So let's see. I think we can find a happy medium. Let me adjust some things. So like I said, my room's different now. So I am trying to adjust accordingly and make it where everybody's comfortable. You have a little bit better view. Oh, Slime, just wait until I explain. It's so out of control. It's unreal. I'm so pissed off about it. So pissed. I'm trying to contain my anger. Trying to be cool. So give me a second to get this all sorted out. Let's see what some of your comments are. What's up, that thing? That thing. I love that. My neighbor's dog is barking right now and won't shut the fuck up. I know Gling also has some serious problems with her neighbor's dogs. Hey, Morpheus, dogs are the worst species to ever exist. I agree. And I'm going to search through my emails and try to find your email. That was one of the things I actually wanted to discuss on tonight's short live stream. Just going to bed, you just caught me. I just said, Gling, about your neighbor's dogs. A little shithead is barking right as you speak. I'm going to feed it some chocolate. Well, that thing, as we discussed in my video, is chocolate that bad for dogs? It's not. And, I don't encourage anybody to do anything fucked up to pets because I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube. But it won't do it. What's up, Nutmeg? I was so glad to see it. Showed me a little thing today, like Nutmeg subscribed. I'm like, fucking hey, cool. I've always loved that person. So we are going to talk about the shithead neighbor's dogs. I will share with you guys the unfortunate events of my neighbors with their fucking dogs. So as all of you know, most of you know from seeing my work videos, I worked on a house that was very close by. Is Ban All Dogs here? I didn't see him pop in. Oh, okay. So the landlord has a very strict lease about no pets. He was very clear, there he is, about not having dogs over at that house. In fact, I believe it was Richard who said, hey, as soon as you're done working on that house, this new dog owner can move in. And I said, no, the landlord doesn't want any more dog people in there. We're good. Well, that doesn't stop people from lying, okay, or sneaking them in. And that's exactly what's happened. They're not doing such a good job at sneaking them anywhere because the fuckers have been out roaming off of leash at large twice now since they moved in, Wednesday. The one is highly aggressive. It's some kind of Shepherd Cujo looking mix. The little dogs are real annoying. Let me turn up my AC because it doesn't really need to be on right now. The little dogs, when we're talking about barking, the little dogs are some of the worst, okay? They've got one of each. Doug had said he heard them say dogs. Hey, what's up, word of the day? What's up, dump dogs? Hey, Christian. Hey, everybody. And I said, well, I've only seen the one. And he's like, yeah, well, yeah, Gling. I was like, animal control isn't on service today, or I would call them, okay? But they don't work on the weekends here. And so I didn't bother, but I caught it on video. As I always say, it's real important to have evidence as to your complaints about these fucking dogs. So yeah, there's still a big old pile of trash out there. You guys remember me talking about all the stuff we had to rip out of the house? So all of the shit that we ripped out of the house that the dogs lived in, the new dogs are pissing all over. Doug usually doesn't have a lot to say about dogs, you know. Hey, it's Annabelle. Well, good to see you. But even he was like, I told the landlord, I'm not cleaning up a bunch of trash that dogs have been pissing on. That makes it a biohazard. And I was like, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. It does. It's fucking disgusting. Let me see what you guys are saying over here. Gling said, bark, bark, bark. That's what it's like. Dump Dog says, I have a huge issue with my neighbor and his damn dog. And that's why I titled it this, because I feel this is something that's highly relatable to all of us, is the issues with the, hold on a second. Hey, Chicken Nugget, I'm doing a live stream. Let me call you back. Love you, bye. Got to answer the kid when they call. She's my chicken nugget. That's I call her. Slime says, my neighbor's dog is barking right now. You're the third person to say that. Christian says, I'm pretty sure my neighbors will get fined for loose pit bulls since I have pictures. Let's hope. Let's hope. It's the little ones you hate the most. Yeah, like I said, I have to agree on the barking end. Dump Dog says, and he built this deck at the same height as the fence. Now I'm worried that Mutt will jump into my yard. Well, you know, check into the laws. Actually, Dump Dogs and I had just had a short comment section about this earlier in one of the videos. Check into the laws in your own county and everything. As we covered the other day in one of the live streams, California, for example, you're allowed to put out poison in your yard. You are allowed to kill an animal just for trespassing. So, you know, something to think about. What is up, everybody? It's too depressing, am I right? Yeah, it's very depressing. The mutt took a dump in the living room once, and my family just comforted it. Nutmeg. Wow. I feel for you guys that have to deal with that. Yeah, Beanie's right. Please hit the like button. That helps get the video out there. That thing says, I have to live with my dogs because I'm still in high school. They never shut the fuck up and bark at everything. I wish my parents would just get rid of them. Yeah. Well, I have all kinds of problems with my neighbor's dogs, and I know how you feel. I used to have to live around dogs myself, Nutmeg, and I'm sorry. And not just when I was a dog trainer, but when I was a youth, when I was young, I had to live around dogs. My mother had dogs that she treated better than us, and she was, you know, when IHD talks about like those severe neglect stories and shit, and you'll see me just get really quiet because it's like traumatizing for me because that was my life. My mother was highly abusive, on drugs. The only thing she didn't do was drink, and always with some kind of little dog, you know, and it was always more important than us. Yes, barking can damage your hearing. You can measure decibel levels on your phone that can report it. That's true. That is actually true, and there's an app for that. So, you know, it's something to think about. Nutmegs, my parent tossed my cat and threw boxes at him only because I said I hate dogs. That ain't right. And you see, the abuse shit, I mean, it's out of control. And I just, kills me, man, you guys. I don't know. I couldn't imagine being like that. I'm not that kind of parent at all. Okay, I think I found the email from Morpheus that I wanted to cover. Yes, I did. Morpheus, you're in here. If you hear me, I'm trying to make sure because I have a list of your emails right here. The one that I'm going to be covering from you today would be IHD is live right now. I was afraid of that. I was like, you know, if that happens, I'll stop this and come back later so we can all go watch him. Show of hands, should we all go watch IHD and then come back to this later? Because I don't mind. He said, cannot cross the streams. See, that's what I'm saying. Show of hands, I won't be offended. Do you guys want to just go watch IHD and come back to what I'm going to do here in a few? Because this thing from Morpheus is great, and it's under misunderstanding dogs. Misunderstood nanny dogs. Beanie says she wants to say, Dad said, see, you said you're fine with staying here. You know, then since we've already started it and enough of you want to stay here, then anybody who does want to go watch IHD is no big deal. I won't be offended. And you guys go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and cover this, and we can let people come back to it then. So either way, you know, yeah, thank you, Dump Dogs. Yeah, I totally understand. I was afraid that I would miss his live stream doing mine, but I kind of had to cover some things. So like I said, we'll start doing Tuesday morning lives, okay? The Scar Dance. Well, then where the hell is it? Because then that means I didn't send it to myself. Morpheus, if you can, send it to me, please, and I'll pull it off the phone because, yeah, things have been fucked since I've been working so much. So, yeah, no big deal. Everybody do your thing. No judgment here. Trust me. IHD is awesome. Yeah, send that to me. I've got the phone right on me. And we'll go ahead and cover that, and we'll get it in there. Because it's something, Morpheus does really great shit, and I really, really want to cover it. And get it out there. And I have been making sure to do that. Say, Captain, it's your boat and it's your guys' boats. Like I said, I'm not offended at all. I'm not worried about that. As long as the message is getting out there, I'm not in competition with anybody. I thought about that. We could all just watch IHD together on the live stream and then talk about it here. I did. I thought about that for a second. I was like, maybe that's what we should do. Oh, let's see. Dangerous and filthy dog nuttery is his topic. We can do it for a minute. I know he wouldn't care. So I'll pull it up on the phone. Look, it's like they're back to back too. There's me. There's IHD. I love it how it's all like, there we both are. So let me pull it up. Why not? Let's do it. And at least for a few. You just resent it? Cool. Then I'll go find it.
These people are arrogant.
I'm going to let everybody know we're watching over here.
Right? Got to start calling this out. Unbelievable. Now somebody is poisoning mutts. Yeah, this surfaced today. Somebody out here poisoning mutts.
I even told him, I said, we're live on my channel listening to your live.
I'm just reporting the news. I
That's awesome.
didn't say this was good or bad or anything. I'm just pointing this out. And I guess the investigations are ongoing. Right? What is this? Where is that? Derbyshire. I don't even think that's in the United States. This also surfaced today. I don't know how many people keep up with the news, but today was just crazy. A crazy dog day.
UK.
One person dead after car crashes trying to avoid hitting a mutt. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Unbelievable.
I see Nutmeg over there.
Woman died while two others injured when the driver of the car crashed after attempting to avoid a dog.
Yeah, I'm both.
Like I said earlier, they're killing us in so many ways. Here's another way. These mutants run out into the street. Got a bunch of dog lovers. They don't want to hit the mutt. They hate humans. They'll prefer to crash into a human rather than hit a worthless mutt. These people don't care about themselves.
Hey, Deanna.
They're at home, killing themselves, sacrificing their kids. They don't care about nothing other than dogs. They will gladly veer left, veer right, no matter who's in the lane to avoid a mutt. Always keep an eye out for this type of insanity.
This is the dog hating Twilight Zone.
What is this? Really?
I'll run the fucker over. No hesitation. I'm not wrecking my car.
Surfaced today as well. 66-year-old man died trying to fight off a pit bull. Man, oh man, these things kill grown men. They kill grown men.
Bioweapons all day.
We're trusting them around our kids, treating them like family members. Are we out? This is nuts. This is nuts. You shouldn't have to convince people to give these things away. They should be rushing to the shelters, giving them away, getting rid of them. The fact that you got to convince these people to get rid of these things, that speaks volume. Volume. Okay? Wow. 66-year-old Cape Town man has died following vicious attack. Pit bull terriers reportedly escaped from a locked backyard enclosure before making their way to the van's front gate. And of course, as soon as they escape from their enclosure, the first thing they do is look for somebody to attack.
So look, I've got this email I really want to cover from Morpheus. I'm going to cover a recent topic or two before we start. And for all of those viewing in the past or the future or whatever the fuck it's going to be called, bark, 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 bark. It's funny because they're all going to be like, oh, well, live with Ashley, live with this, live with that. So we're going to cover the story from Morpheus. I'm going to cover one or two recent topics before we do it. We'll skip past the comedy, and that way we can all get into IHD's live because his are going to be much longer than mine. Okay? So I'm only going to go on here for probably a half hour. So let's cover one or two stories. Okay? And then I have a bunch of great content for Tuesday morning. That live stream will be starting at 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Oh, no, I'm not rushing myself. More that I didn't plan on it being a great big long live in the first place, you know? And you're right, it is no big deal. I constantly catch IHD's live streams after he does them because I wasn't there for him. But I hate crossing streams. Like, I always try to... And I was like, you know, as soon as I do this, he's going to go live too, so... Oh boy, there was a couple recent things. I wish I had 2 brains and 4 ears, right? I know, we seen you over there. We were watching the live on here for a couple minutes, Span All Dogs, and we'll probably do that a couple times, actually. If you guys dig that, since we're already crossing streams, I'll cover a story. We'll check in on IHD. Then we'll go to Morpheus's email. You know, he's so great at writing. He's got just a way with words, and I love, love, love everything he sends me. It's an update on that Oklahoma City man, whom his dogs killed his 82-year-old, I thought it was his mother, but it turned out it wasn't. It was 2 completely, like, super similar situations. So Oklahoma City man was found not guilty of second-degree manslaughter after his pit bulls mauled an 82-year-old woman to death. Okay, so he's been found not guilty on second-degree manslaughter charges. This was a case that took place in 2017. That could have been your child, you know, your brother, your sister, Melinda Klontz had told KFOR back in 2017. Prosecutors say Klontz's mother, I thought it was his mother, 82-year-old Cecile Short was mauled to death by 2 pit bulls owned by, Klont was the one speaking. I'm speaking out of turn, excuse me. We wanted to make him aware that her family is still grieving for her, okay? Short was killed on her daily walk. All right, where she had lived by the 2 dogs. Witnesses say the dogs attacked her and then dragged her body all around. Both dogs were later shot by an Oklahoma City police officer. Burke says he was out of town at the time of the attack. In the days leading up to her death, court records show neighbors had complained about the dogs breaking loose from Burke's backyard. Prosecutors showed the jury pictures of the damaged fence, along with a large hole that was partially blocked by a recycling bin and a cooler that was anchored down with rocks. And he didn't get a charge? I don't fucking understand this. This was a tragic accident. The owner of the dogs that killed elderly woman pleads not guilty to manslaughter, and he won. During the preliminary hearing, a neighbor testified that Burks was aware of the problem and had promised to get it fixed. Burks' ex-girlfriend testified she helped Burks fix that hole with nails, wood, and a chest push in front of it with the trash cans behind it. That's not going to stop these things. And then that's it. They hardly even bring up the woman's name. They don't care to even discuss it. Okay, it's just... It was not an accident. It's not a tragic accident. It's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. I hate it.
Are the most peaceful. And as soon as they're not on a leash, all hell breaks loose. Somebody's getting mutilated. This type of propaganda can't last. It just cannot last, people. You know, I laugh at these dog nuts who come to this channel and leave a little stupid comment, suggesting that this social movement is going nowhere and has no momentum. They know better than that. They know better.
That's why they're so intimidated and constantly making comments. That's why that one guy, Ronnie, is such an asshole.
Tell me or try to convince me that these things are loving, wonderful creatures sent from heaven when they're the only one that demand that you keep them tied up and restrained.
That's okay, Gling. You got to do your thing. Exactly, Morpheus.
Walking past.
Modern day society can't last much longer. Dog love is just a symptom of a much larger problem. And that's absolutely true. And agree with me or not, I don't give a fuck. Proof's in the fucking pudding. The shit pudding we all live in. Modern day society cannot carry on. It was highly unsustainable. Okay? So let's get into Morpheus's email. I'm so appreciative of him. And I love the shit that he writes. So we're going to get into this. He says, "Hey, Ash, long time no see." Hi, Morpheus. I've been busy as fuck with my job, so I haven't had much time to chime in on the live streams. However, during my little hiatus, I've had the opportunity to read a very fascinating book by author William Mansfeld called The Scar Dance, which I'll provide a link below to the online bookstore. Okay, so I'll put the link in the description if you guys are interested. I don't think it's available anywhere else. This story is based on his own personal experience involving a life-changing dog attack, but with several different name changes for the characters involved, most likely with the intent on protecting their identities. The story takes place in a middle-class Chicago neighborhood known as Humboldt Park, where the author, who goes by the pseudonym Drummond, and his wife, Anne, reside. They are also very good friends with their next-door neighbors, Wade and Lizzie, whose 2 bull mastiffs and 1 Labrador mix will play a major role later on in this story. One day, Drummond's wife, Anne, decided she would do her neighbors a favor by dog sitting for them while Lizzie was at the hospital for a routine medical procedure. Sorry. It should be noted, however, that the bull mastiffs in question had a track record of unprovoked aggression. In fact, on one occasion, they had actually dug underneath the Mansfield's fence and attacked one of their dogs, a small terrier by the name of Alice. The mutt survived, but not without several stitches to the outside of its nose. Moving on. Nothing could have prepared Anne for the tribulation she was about to experience the moment she would enter her neighbor's home. To quote from pages 2 to 3, the dogs lunged out the door. Anne immediately spun to her right, where there was a waist-high brick balcony to escape from the dogs, but she realized she might break a leg or an ankle and be in even more danger. This thought flashed through her mind with lightning speed, and before she could react farther, the largest dog bit Anne on her right hip and buttock, locked his jaws, and dragged her down the front steps into the yard, where both dogs ripped into her. It was the largest and the oldest dog that had initiated the attack, and he inflicted the most damage with his bite wounds. He was the pack leader, and the other 2 dogs followed suit when he attacked. The front steps were solid, rough concrete, and Anne's body and head banged against the steps as the dogs dragged her down. She landed in a seated position on the front patio, trying desperately to push herself back with her arms, while the dogs mauled her legs and feet. The most aggressive dog was huge, with a massive mouth and teeth, which were ravaging Anne's left thigh. Anne was somehow able to turn and roll, and when the dogs got her on the ground in the front yard, she was lying on her stomach. Basically a dirt patch. The front yard was torn up from the large dogs leaping around in it, wiping out any other grass and plants. The dogs viciously mauled Anne in the front yard, inflicting terrible bite wounds on her back, shoulders, ears, and worst of all, on both of her thighs. Anne desperately clawed at the ground, trying to get away from the dogs, while screaming at the owner to get them off of her. She experienced the most extreme feeling of primal terror, with large vicious animals attacking her. When Anne rolled on her stomach, the pack leader immediately lunged for the neck, instinctively going for her throat in an obvious attempt to kill her. He lifted her off the ground by her neck, and Anne screamed at the dog owner, the wife, Lizzie, "I'm going to die. Get your fucking dogs off of me. I'm going to die." The wife wrestled with the dogs to get them off of Anne, and after a major struggle managed to get all 3 back inside her house, but not before the dog had severely injured Anne, inflicting major bite wounds. Needless to say, Anne was ravaged. She was covered in blood from head to toe, and her clothes were nothing more than tattered rags. Neighbors from all over the block who had witnessed the ordeal were frantically dialing 911. One neighbor, who was worried that an ambulance wouldn't be able to arrive on time, actually offered to drive Anne to the hospital, which she modestly declined, fearing she would soak the inside of the car with her blood. When the EMTs finally arrived, they had to take her to a trauma hospital on the south side of Chicago. When they asked why they decided to take her to such a far-off location instead of opting for the nearby Northwestern Memorial Hospital, which also happened to be within the Mansfield couple's insurance network, they replied that it was because the Southside Hospital offered the best trauma services in all of Chicago. Yeah, her injuries were that severe. To use the author's own words from page 8, she was covered in a white blanket and wrapped in so much gauze, she looked like a mummy. Only her face and hands were visible. She was conscious, but seemed extremely groggy, with her face very pale and her hair disheveled. And from page 11, I was extremely unprepared for what I saw when the doctors unwrapped the bandages to inspect the bite wounds. Both of Anne's thighs were covered with a ring of wounds, which were terrible, deep gashes that encircled both thighs. There were also serious gashes on her shoulders and arms, her calf, and one of her ears. Anne had a very fair complexion and red hair, and the lurid red gashes stood out in stark contrast to her ivory white skin. During the attack, she had been able to roll over on her stomach and protect her face, so there were no puncture wounds or bite wounds to her face or front of her torso. However, her entire body was also covered with bruises. Her left breast was completely black with a huge bruise, and there were many other bruises on the rest of her front torso and legs as well. The horrifying gashes and bruises told the story of the terrible violence the vicious dogs had inflicted upon her body. I was shocked and appalled when the doctors removed the bandages and I saw the wounds on Anne's body for the first time. Besides the horror of the wounds themselves, the doctors had installed what they call pinwheel drains into the wounds. For those of you who don't know, I'll explain. These are loops, well, they explain. These were loops of dull yellow rubber tubing, the purpose of which is to keep the wounds open. Many of the dog bites pierced completely through Anne's flesh. The doctors explained to us the dog's teeth had met in the middle. These rubber pinwheel drains are looped completely through the wound to keep them from closing in on themselves as they heal. If the wounds close prematurely, there is a major risk of infection and abscess. So the purpose of the pinwheel drain is to keep the wounds open and prevent that risk. I have had to put pinwheel tubes into horses, dogs, cattle, you name it. To add insult to injury, It would be Drummond's responsibility to not only routinely inspect these wounds for signs of infection once Anne was discharged from the hospital, but he would also be tasked with replacing the pinwheel drains from her ravenous flesh wounds. It's not fun. He also had the tremendous responsibility of keeping the house clean and as sanitary as possible in order to prevent any infectious pathogens from entering the wounds. Though, ironically enough, it never crossed their mind to remove their terrier dogs from the home. As well as we all know by now, dogs are rife with parasites and forms of pathogenic zoonotic bacteria. Even stranger is the fact that he even goes as far as to allow the dogs to lick his wife's hands. And what's more, the neighbors whose bull mastiffs had attacked Anne in the first place were never put down nor even confiscated by animal control. In fact, the neighbors did everything in their power to retain ownership of their prized fluffies, despite the fact that while Anne was in the hospital, the dogs in question had actually committed yet another attack. This time, a fatal one on a neighborhood dog. What I find most ironic out of this whole ordeal is the fact that these very neighbors would later on develop a hostile, vituperative attitude toward, attitude toward the Mansfelds themselves, as if they were the ones to blame for Anne's horrific trial by fire, instead of the worthless, brainless mutts who perpetuated the attack in the first place. And to break off real quick, we all know how common that is. They blame everyone else. Everyone else. Moving on. From dirty looks to verbal harassment, written threats posted on their fence, and of course the looming threat of the three dangerous mutts, the Mansfields were left with no other option but to sell their home, which they had been living in for the past 15 years, and move to a completely different neighborhood. Fortunately, after several lawsuits and investigations, the dogs were eventually confiscated by animal control, though it is unknown whether or not they were put down. What's more, Lizzie and Wade, the mutt nut owners, were never convicted. In the end, Anne eventually recovers from the attack, though not completely, as her once pristine and porcelain complexion will forever be riddled with grotesque scarring, and she never fully regains pain-free use of her left arm. My takeaway from the Scar Dance, that's the name of the book, is that while the human spirit can oftentimes be much more indomitable than we give it credit for, when it comes to enduring traumatic events, it doesn't mean we should just sit back and accept these events as just another part of life. We as humans possess the intelligence to learn from the past and create a brighter future. Yet when it comes to dogs, we seem to unironically take a counterproductive approach. We ignore the mutts, blame the victims, pretend the dog attacks are simply just a natural part of everyday life, which in turn brings me to the premise as to what the so-called dog problem really is at its most fundamental aspect. First and foremost, we're not actually dealing with a dog problem. What we have is a human problem. Sure, we can all agree dogs are the aberration of the animal kingdom, but the thing is they are man-made aberrations. Nature in all its excellence would have never created these things in the first place. These mutts exist solely because of our human hubris. And the fact that we collectively allow them to exist despite having all the money and resources to wipe them out within a single lifetime says more about the dilapidated and perfidious state of mankind than it does about dogs. I've stated in a previous email to you, the struggle we are engaged is not a crusade against dogs at all. This is a spiritual war for the soul of mankind. And by the looks of it, we are on the losing team until we gain the awareness of what we're truly fighting for, as well as what we are truly fighting against, there will be no hope whatsoever in not only getting rid of dogs, but also in bringing about the heavenly paradise which the Creator had intended for this world to be. Finally, I'd like to finish with a message. I'd like to finish this message off with a quote from the late Chilean occultist and diplomat Miguel Serrano. The English language is mysterious. The secret of our dog is to be found in it. Dog spelt backwards is God. The dog, then, is the road from which it travels backwards, the deepest depths, from the roots of the tree of smell, touch, and taste, will turn you into a god. Thus the dog is the guide of the blind traveler, of the pilgrim of immortality. It is God backwards. Thank you, Morpheus. That was fucked. Okay? That was fucked. Yeah, I'm speechless too. Yeah. Let's see what you guys... Hey, Canine Critic. I know, we actually played IHD for a few minutes. Fuck Fluffy indeed. Yes, terrible. I'm just scanning through your comments real quick. Why is it that I hear coyotes at night and the sound is pleasant, but a domestic dog bark makes me nuts? Exactly. Well, because coyotes are natural and dogs are highly not. And even if you hate all dogs, even wild dogs, coyotes run away from people. The only time a coyote will really come at a person is when you come near one of their dens with their babies in it, and even then they're trying to get rid of you. It's not that they're trying to take you. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah, dump dogs. I don't put up with that shit. You see, real quick, I comment back to them, and I block them. I don't mind leaving their stupid comments because it makes them look shitty, but I am not allowing them to troll my channel and carry on. These motherfuckers can kiss my ass. Oof. I don't get any of it, guys. I don't get any of it. Let's check in on IHD, shall we?
Property owned another property.
And listen to it while I go through my emails.
So they owned another house somewhere. When the staff arrived to the other home, they found 20 more dogs, also surrounded by feces. Can y'all believe that? Now I want y'all to pay attention. I'm about to show y'all the house. I'm going to show you the inside of the house, people. Let's get a good look at the dog nuts that we're dealing with here, that we're talking about here. What in the world, what type of human being would live like this? You got 85 dogs up in this house. You literally see dog feces all over the floor. You can see dog urine all over the floor right now in this photo. What type of horror movie?
Dogs are built with feces.
Not even homes in horror movies are this nasty. And what are you doing with all these dogs? It don't matter what you're doing with them. You're up in a house with all these dogs living like
That's
this.
what they're doing.
What is this?
And guys, you know, I've told you. I'll make a comment. Gross. I've told you guys I have worked with tons of these hoarding situations. I'll never understand it. I don't fucking get it. I never will. I hope I never understand. Shit, that's one nasty doggy orgy. Oh, why else do you have so many? Oh, all right. Let's cover another recent topic. We're going to wrap this up soon. Oh, boy. This was just from the other day, the 6th of November. Okay. Allegheny. Okay. The police are investigating after a man was found dead from what they believe is a dog attack. They saw multiple evidence markers on the ground flying over the crime scene. Investigators had taped off an area on the street. Allegheny County Police say detectives were called to investigate circumstances surrounding the death. Anyone with information about this incident is urged to call. They found a man dead inside a home along Grover Avenue, and that's how short the story is. And they believe he was killed by his dog. That's all they said. They didn't say shit else. They're killing me. What about fresh air? Well, Matthew, you know they don't care. Don't know how you lasted yet. That's true. 20 plus years. I mainly trained horses, but how did I last 20 some years? I got to be honest. When I started, and I've said this before, so, thank you, Morpheus. I appreciate that. I do my best. You're such a good writer that I try to do my best and put the energy into it. And it was awkward off of my phone because I'm used to reading it right here on the computer. So it's really easy for me to keep eye contact. And so I had to keep looking up. Yes. By the time I read that story, they'd removed the speculation about the dog. Exactly. It was only in the title. once I went back to reread it. When I read it on the 6th, it was there. Then I went back, Annabelle, and it was only in the title. I'm like, fuck. Ugh. Okay, so the first 10 years of my dog training, I was like, these things, it's not their fault. It's the owners. I was one of those people for a long time. And I was like, I can fix this. I can make better dogs. And that was my whole thought process behind it. My uncle taught me to train hunting dogs first. Okay, so after that, I worked with training search and rescue dogs and cadaver search dogs. And I was like, you know what? I have all this training and experience. And everybody was already asking me for help all the time training dogs anyways. And I was like, you know what? I can make a huge difference. I can make better dogs. You know, it's not the dogs, it's the owners. And, you know, when they say that, I understand why they say it strangely, because I've been down that same road. And I would train these dogs. And I've told you guys, I've done so much training. I could train horses to sit down and roll over like dogs, shake your hand. And I can train dogs to follow sign language, silent cues, to attack, to search, to anything. I've done a lot of training. I'm experienced. And, you know, you train these dogs and they would listen to everything I say. I'm fucking scary, right? And that's another thing when these people go like, dogs don't do that. They would listen to not everybody's dominant and fucking scary like me and this guy over here making the comments about dog nuts because he's scary and dominant. Well, yeah, of course you don't have any problems. You're scaring the fuck out of the thing. For the general people, especially all these women that want to have pit bulls and Rottweilers and German Shepherds and they can't control them, and they talk like this, and they're real sweet, and that they're not fixable. They'll always be dumb and uncouth. But I'll say it again. My uncle's been saying it for years, and I'll repeat it. He used to say all the time, the only good dog is the dog that don't trust you. By that he means they beat the shit out of them. That's how most things get trained, is by extreme abuse. Yeah. I wasn't a dog nutter, okay, because I've always been indifferent to them. I've never been a fan. But I didn't hate them as much as I did until so many years ago. And then the last 10 years of my dog training, oh, I hated them. Hey, Eye of the Needle. Yeah. What do they do with these? I'll tell you, most people don't understand what it even takes to train a dog. You know, if you've ever met a dog that you're like, hey, this thing's kind of halfway decent, you know what I'm saying? It's not that we would think that, but I'm saying throughout your life, you know, well, it's been beaten and starved. That's how they do it. So, just saying. Just saying. Let's see what I've got in my old email bag for you. And, oh, I really wanted to talk about this. Guys, one of my first videos was about a woman named Maria Ruiz. And for those of you that are new to the channel or haven't gone back and watched my old videos, this is back when I did uploads. And I actually titled the whole video after her. I talked about Maria. And it happened in Phoenix, which is in the same state I live in. So I kind of was like, jumped right on that. You know, when I first started, I was like, every dog attack that popped up, I jumped up and made a video. And it soon became obvious to me that if I did that every time, I would be making several videos a day. So now I just wait and talk about them all. But there's an update. Okay. Hopefully that shuts up. And I didn't cover this update because I didn't even know. So it's from like a month or so ago. But whatever. I'm happy to talk about it. The man was arrested after the police said his dog had attacked and killed his neighbor in South Phoenix. According to Phoenix police, 77-year-old Maria Eliza Ruiz was on her front porch when 4 Staffordshire mixed dogs attacked her without being provoked. She was just sitting on her porch. She was taken to the hospital where she died. The dogs escaped several times. I've called the police on them, said a neighbor who asked not to be identified. It's terrifying. The neighbor said the dogs have been violent and unruly before. Now she has to grieve her neighbor's death. She was just sitting on the porch. She wasn't even walking. She was just sitting on the porch, the neighbor said. Add that to the list of things dogsbite.org says a dog will attack you for. The dogs belong to 33-year-old Alejandro Hernandez. Maricopa County Animal Care and Control captured and took custody of his dogs. And according to the Maricopa County Animal Control, they were called out in February of 2020 after 5 of Hernandez's dogs were loose. He was issued 7 license warnings for dogs on the property. Then in April of this year, Animal Care was called out again when 2 of the dogs were loose. They also told him at least once to fix a gate to keep the dogs inside his yard. This story is over and over again. It replays itself. They not only do they insist on having these dangerous pieces of parasitic shit, but they will not contain them. Neighbor said it's been so bad she's had to quickly pull her 2-year-old daughter inside the house. I picked her up by one arm and literally dragged her and ran inside the house as the dogs came and tried to attack the fence. While talking to detectives, Hernandez admitted that the dogs had escaped multiple times in the past and he had chased after bitten neighbors. Hernandez was arrested, booked into Maricopa County Jail, and he has now been fully charged and is serving his time. So, you know, what's up, Chef? Good to see you. IHD is live too. Yeah, breathing's a trigger. We all know. So I'm going to turn in, guys. Like I said, I didn't want to make this a super long one. Chef, we're all so happy to see you. But I'm about to shut down and we can go watch IHD and call it a night. I've changed things though. Okay. So like I said, we've got Fuck Fluffy Fridays. I'm going for Tuesday mornings is going to work better for my shifts, and it would be at 7 a.m. so we can get a hold of everybody. Oh, is he about to end his stream? Okay, well, maybe I'll cover a couple more stories. Thank you, Chef. You rock. Oh, no. So Tuesday mornings, guys, I know a lot of you can't make it. That is set up so that people in the UK, people like Canine Critic, hey, kittens, and everybody that's really far away, okay, can catch in on the streams. And so that's why I do one in the evening and one in the morning. Wednesdays and then doing it on Fridays is yeah, we're just going to stay here. Okay, yeah, thank you, Slime, for you guys. Chef, Slime, thank you. It's like Wednesday and then Friday, and it's just like crowding the fuck out of me. So we're going to start doing Tuesdays, okay, and Fridays. And Chef is going to be doing all her uploads, which she's so fucking good at. So I'm really excited. Yeah, he's done. So I appreciate every pizza for everyone. Rational Cleanliness is an asshole. And if you go watch his videos, as I pointed out, you're going to need some industrial strength cleaner to clean your eyes out. He's terrible. He's a terrible guy. No, he's great. Okay, let's get into something then, since he's done and we're not going to go ahead and hop off of here. This shit is crazy. And get ready, wrap your fucking head around this. Oh, Vox, have you not watched Rational Cleanliness's videos? You've been warned. Bring some bleach, okay? Yes, see, ban all dogs. Oh, damn, that video was disgusting. It's a really good video, though. Dog nuts need to see that video. It traumatized the shit out of me, but I think dog nuts need to see. And in short, you guys, the video is sponsored by Clorox. I need something more industrial strength. In the video, he's showing dogs sticking their tongues and all over these people and in their orifices and nose. And then on the other side of the screen is dog eating a pile of shit. Dog eating vomit. Yeah, Beanie even hit me up that night because you had first come on the channel and were like, yeah, I'm making videos. And Beanie hits me up a little bit later and she says, dude, have you watched that video that Rational Cleanliness made? And I was like, oh, no, it's in my list, but I haven't seen it yet. Hi, Gabriel. Much love to you. I said, no, I haven't seen it yet. She's like, just going to warn you ahead of time. Yeah, Matthew, it's bad. She said, I have a week's to be careful. You're just happy that you traumatized us all. Oh, yeah, it's a good video. I just think more dog nuts need to see it. So let's cover this topic. Came from Oni Tony. Been helping me out a lot. I encourage all of you to help me out anytime you want to. Any stories you hear, any articles you want to write, if you want to do like Morpheus does when he reads books and write his review, his summary of the book. I love those because some of us don't read books anymore. I'm way too busy all the time. Oh boy. Actress is suing over after a love scene when a Boston Terrier bit her. Okay, guys, so wrap your head around it. It's coming at you. Emmy-winning actress sues for $5 million after dog bites her while filming love scene on Ottawa movie set. What? I've had dogs interrupt my lovemaking before. Ain't nobody giving me $5 million fucking dollars. This is from 2017, but the story is fucking, we gotta talk about it. She launched a $5 million lawsuit for trauma she says she suffered after a dog bit her in the face during a love scene on an Ottawa movie set. By the way, Beanie or Asher, you guys want to throw up that petition? Saying the word Ottawa made me think of the new petition. We need to get some signatures on that. The actress was Adrienne France, okay? She's 39 years old and celebrated a celebrated U.S. opera star. She was suddenly attacked by the dog as she filmed a scene with Canadian actor John Corr on the set of the movie The Perfect Girlfriend. This was in November 2014. In an interview Tuesday, France's Vancouver-based lawyer Robin Wishart described the allegation at the heart of the lawsuit. She was filming the love scene and was in a passionate embrace with the male lead, and the dog ran up the stairs, knocked the male lead off of Miss France, and bit her in the face. It's a Boston Terrier, y'all. Why didn't someone punch it? The dog, a Boston Terrier named... Wait a minute. I've got this. Cockblocker. The dog, a Boston Terrier named Cockblocker, had a role in the film, but was not supposed to play any part in this scene. Well, no shit. At the time of the incident, France was 3 months pregnant. She said, and ultimately decided to forego a tetanus shot in order to protect her unborn baby. Hold on a second, y'all. Oh, sorry, it was children. I thought I heard coyotes. I had to go check. The sun's setting out here, so it's perfect time for that kind of shit. Oh my God. Unfortunately, France suffered a miscarriage less than 2 weeks after the dog bit her and endured other physical and emotional fallouts, including PTSD, anxiety, depression, and Graves' disease. That's a thyroid-related condition. I was about to say, I know all about that. And sometimes be triggered by stressful events. France's damages suit contends that the Ontario-based film production company, NB Thrilling Films 4 Inc., was negligent in its handling of the dog, Cockblocker, and failed to keep her safe on the Ottawa set. Wishart said that Bentley was not a trained animal actor, but rather a family pet owned by the film's Ottawa-based makeup artist. In a statement of defense, the production company concedes that a dog incident took place, but it maintains that it did not result in any serious or permanent injuries to France. Interesting. A lawyer for the production company said in an affidavit that he has viewed recent pictures of France on the internet that show she has no scarring or skin imperfections of any kind on her right cheek. What's more, she ought to have known that dogs can be unpredictable. Didn't you know that? And that there's a risk associated with such unpredictability. So by agreeing to act in a film with a dog, she accepted those risks. The incident took place on a set location it's in Ottawa. Shit. No, the dog's alive. You heard the lawyer for the studio. She should have known, Chef. Dogs are unpredictable. You see how that's convenient for them to use when they're evading legal trouble? But if I say I don't want the dog around my son because it's unpredictable, then I'm a monster. You know what I'm saying? Fuck. What'd Slime say we're all so happy about? I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on over here? I don't see it. I'm late to the party. Hell, there's so many comments over here. I don't even know anymore. I'll check it out later. Oh boy. In this email, Moni goes on to say, she shouldn't have screamed, squealed, or made any high-pitched noises that could startle the dog or cause it to respond. Okay? Suggestions that might help in a dog attack situation. Note, all dog attacks are different, and these suggestions may not stop a dog attack. Always allow the dog room to escape. Oh, like when they ran up on Maria Ruiz's porch and killed her. Stay calm. Don't run. You may trigger a chase response. Don't scream, squeal. High-pitched sounds can startle the dog and cause it to respond. Don't make any sudden movements. Try to ignore the dog, even if it's chewing you apart. I haven't, but it's in my watch list, Rational Cleanliness. Avoid eye contact. Use anything in your hand as a shield, not a weapon. Fuck. And he said, dog came on and started to attack. So now that he's quoting this video down here about the 12 Oklahoma City children that were injured after a dog attack at the school, and I'll go ahead and cover that. The dog came and started to attack some of the kids, and of course, children began to scream and panic, which excites the dogs and scared the dog even more. Okay? His natural instinct was to keep biting and go after the kids. And for those of you that didn't hear about this story, I will do a quick run over of it. Okay, this was a few years ago. Dog attack at Oklahoma school leaves 12 children injured. An afternoon on playground for students in Oklahoma elementary school turned into a terrifying encounter.
Freedom of speech is
Shut up. After a dog came in through an open gate and attacked several of them. Okay, they were bitten at the school, and the dog had entered the playground area. 5 students were transported to the hospital. 7 others were taken by their parents. None of the injuries were deemed critical. The children suffered superficial dog bites, and some had escape injuries as they attempted to run away. The dog, a shitbowl mix, was able to get inside the school, but a teacher tackled him before he reached any classrooms. Yeah. Because this is all very normal, and dogs enter schools and attack children all the time, so fuck it, completely normal. Hey, Thomas. Good to see you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I do have Chef's video on it. It's this great video, Chef. Poor guy with his pants to his ankles crying over a puppy. Well, I can't wait to see it. Arm teachers for dog defense. I totally agree, Annabella. Totally agree. And what else did we have in this email that I'm going to cover at the moment? And Moni goes on to say, these dog nutters are so retarded, it's surreal. They show a nervous pit bull around a crying baby and use it to advocate for dogs as babysitters. More and more, I'm convinced dogs are natural enemy of kids. Natural in kids, cry for food and diaper change. Naturally, dogs hate that. Natural in kids, run around and jump and play. Naturally, dogs hate that. Natural in kids, baby brothers steal food from one and the other, right? Naturally, a dog will kill you for touching its food. Babies don't blink much. Dogs hate that. Natural enemy of kids. Don't look it in the eyes is my favorite one. Don't scream even if it hurts. It's like we were talking about some legendary demon beast here, not about man's best friend. No matter how much dog nutters claim the contrary in forums and comment sections, official sources, news, dog trainers, and even their own dog nutting sites prove dogs are humans' enemies. Most of the time, they are just plain trolling. The trolls in the comment section, I searched in Google for dog bites and found nothing. Dogs don't bite. Seriously? Give me your exact address. Ashley and I will come over tonight and teach you how to use Google. Hey, he's not wrong. He's not fucking wrong. Oh, here, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. All right, we got this from Joseph here. He wanted me to complain about. He likes to hear me rant, so I'm going to rant for you for a second. Find it right here. I know I've got it. There it is. And it's not going to come up. Okay, so he sent me a picture, but it's not on my phone, so I'm just going to explain to you. Patreon, just like YouTube and so many other platforms, love to show a dog for everything. They do it on Google, they do it on YouTube. If you go in there and the page isn't coming up, they're like, oh, something's wrong. Maybe you need to refresh. And there's a picture of a dog, okay? Patreon, oh, hey, look at this, picture of a dog. They do it with fucking everything. What other things can you think of right now where they just always place a dog in it? Because it's everything. Dude, it's like a a tampon commercial for bitches, and there's a dog running down the beach, and they're like, oh, you know, do you need X-Lax because you can't shit? Look at this puppy. You know what I'm saying? Better Homes and Gardens, dog. You know, condom commercial, it's a couple rolling around, petting a dog. That's what they fucking do. Amazon shows pictures of dogs. Car commercials. Exactly. Amazon's still doing that shit. They can't control themselves. A pop right on the sign saying happy 6th grade graduation. What the fuck? I wrote a note to my son's school the other day because they keep sending home homework and it's got just dogs slid in everywhere. And I said, look, I'm sick of this crap. You know, some of us don't want to see this shit. I don't, my son having that shit jammed into his fucking head. Yeah, Christian shows, anti-drug ads. It's true. What's up, Shamina? It's low-hanging fruit. Likes from dog nutters. Exactly. I saw a store dedicated to making... No, dude, there's that one thing where they will make pictures of your dog into like velvet paintings. And had a beer earlier. Guess what was on the front of the Budweiser can? A dog. Exactly. Dog nuts don't know how to buy products unless there's a dog featured on it. It's stuffed down our throats. Exactly. Beethoven, Scooby-Doo, Snoopy, All Dogs Go to Heaven. Dude, they jam them into everything. Even when you think the damn show doesn't have a dog in there, there's going to be a dog in there. Flat out. What's up, Sam? Jack Daniels, don't forget the dog. Yeah, they're like, oh, retirement. You know, oh, what is your 401k? Hey, have you thought about, you know, death and a funeral home? Here's a dog. You know, EDR says, I saw an ice cream shop that had 5 different flavors of gelato for dogs. Modern movies seem to be working dogs into them more and more. Mickey Mouse has a fucking dog. Oh, dude, Mickey Mouse, there's Pluto. I even have K9 on my arm, but I got that. I had this tattoo for like 15 years. My buddy's favorite character was Marvin the Martian, so I got the K9. So I actually have one tattooed on me. How's that for fucking propaganda? You know, it's fucking everywhere. You can't get away from it. Dude, I'm trying to remember what it was the other day. And, you know, Joseph is right. It's infuriating. I looked something up the other day, and I'm like, yeah, Tom and Jerry has dogs. They're always beating up on Tom. Exactly. Slime, you are so young to know Tom and Jerry. Kitten says, just happened as I was watching a quiz about the climate. First 5 minutes, dog promotion. Exactly. Pub-sized treats offered in restaurants. Starbucks. Everywhere. Exactly. I fucking hate it. I'm so sick of seeing it. And there was our rant. I love Tom and Jerry too. Slime's just young. I was shocked that he said anything about Tom and Jerry. So there is our rant about how fucking shitty this is. Oh, you want to see my tattoo? I have to like turn my arm this way. You have to look at it upside down. So hold on a second. Let me do it like this. So I have K9, which is Marvin the Martian's dog. And like I said, my friend died. And Marvin the Martian was his favorite, and I was always training dogs, so I was like, I'll get K9, right? And so I've got it on me. I'm like, I'm going to get it covered over one day. Talk about tattoos you regret. Yeah, like, fuck, right? But yeah, that's my tattoo, and I'm not ashamed to talk about it. I think my experience with them only adds credibility to how much shit I do. I'm allowed to talk about it. I've had to deal with these things all my fucking life. So thank you, Joseph, for making me freak out. This story comes from someone on our Facebook page named Jose. And speaking of the Facebook page, Beanie, will you throw up the link? I'm going to start doing live streams there for Facebook members. I'm really curious as to how it's going to go. It'll be kind of like, Facebook members only. Netflix is super dog obsessed. There's another one. So Jose put this one up, and I say, yeah, I'm definitely going to cover this. Let's see. Very scientific. So this is about strongyloidiasis, okay? It's a much neglected soil-borne illness that's caused by the nematode strongyloids, okay? And I'm going to just kind of brush through this because you guys could listen to me sit here and read scientific shit and it could take forever to read this article. But it can be maintained in dogs in the laboratory, and the parasite has been reported to also occur in dogs in the wild. Some authors have considered strongyloidiasis a zoonotic disease, while others have argued that the two hosts carry host specialized population of sterocolitis. Okay, so basically like different. Okay, hang. It's a reservoir for zoonotic diseases and infections of humans. Okay, they've isolated from humans and their dogs in rural villages in northern Cambodia. Okay, and compared the worms derived from these two host species using nuclear and mitochondrial DNA sequence and polymorphisms. Excuse me. We found in dogs there exist two populations, all right, which are clearly separate from the other two genetically based, right? So let me go ahead here and give you the understanding. We'll give you the rundown because this is a very scientific article. So I want to get to the shit that's most important. Human stool samples were collected, and the larvae were isolated according to established methods. In brief, stool samples had been collected for 2 consecutive days from each member of the household who had agreed to participate in the study. All the fecal samples collected from humans were analyzed within 3 hours of collection. The sediments of positive Behrman funnels, that's the test funnel, were preserved and transported to the laboratory. Okay, they explain how they transport it. That's why I have to keep skipping through. It's not that I can't read it all, it's just that it's not important. And the remaining worms were preserved in batches of ethanol. They keep going through that. Work was ongoing and the samples were stored in a freezer. They were also collected from dogs and found in the proximity of sterocolitis positive households. The samples were also taken from the rectum of the animals with the help of the owners and the field assistants. Samples were further processed like the human samples. Okay. Single worm DNA. All right. And now they explain how they transferred it. Like I said, we don't need all that. And then the genocode. Hold on. I'm getting to the end here. Here it is. Free-living females were isolated after 2 days of culture and described above and placed individually onto plate seeds with E. coli. The plates were inspected daily. The females that had produced progeny had presumably ceased reproduction because they no longer contained embryos in their uterus and were picked and prepared for genotyping as described above. Like I said, this is a highly scientific article that I will be linking, okay? 5 or more families of the females have been preserved. They go on about how they preserve them. And here's there it is, results. And then they go through, okay, dogs carry 2 different populations of the sterocolitis. And among all of the individuals from the dogs, we found 2 sequent variants. So 2 different types. The 2 haplotypes differed at 3 positions. Okay, so for those of you who don't understand, they're like segmented. Okay, so that means there are 3 different genetic copies of this worm, which is another fancy way of saying that they are changing. Do you guys remember when I covered, like, the scientific stuff's hard because I know a lot of people don't really understand what they're saying. I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying it's hard to understand. They are developing an immunity and they aren't dying. You guys remember me covering the article where they broke it down in layman's terms and were like, hey, like, wormers aren't working for the worms anymore. In fact, they did the tests at multiple racetracks and different dog pounds and have found that they aren't dying due to regular worming treatment anymore. And they're having a really hard time finding a way to kill them now that they've built up this immunity and it's just not working anymore. Okay, so, and as they go on to explain closer to the end of the article, the communities in Cambodia where they're sharing the premises with domesticated animals and general hygiene and water and sanitation, okay, which is the same as like a dog nutter's house. They're right in there with these things, okay? That zoonotic diseases are being spread like crazy, okay? Crazy, and they're still going like, this is what happened, it's come from the dogs, but you know, this is also because they live in an area that's filthy, you know, And, and also they have started to genetically change themselves to make themselves highly transferable to humans. Okay? Hey, slime, see ya. Hi, orc wrench. Worms adapt. Exactly, rational cleanliness. It's what they're saying in their layman's terms. You break it down. They are adapting and changing so that they can more readily enter humans. We're a better host. Okay? Also, there's anti-help. Exactly. It only kills the worms and the eggs take 3 days to hatch. The live worms, not eggs. So, a lot of people don't understand that. And these things, you have to constantly worm them. This isn't something you like worm them once. You have to worm them over and over and over and over. They are developing a tolerance to the drugs, okay? And they are adapting to invade us easier than ever. Fun stuff. Why old people always know to stay away from dogs when I was a kid. When did we lose this information? Sorry. Look, back in the day, Annabelle, I'm always saying this. I miss the time when we killed the damn dogs when they bit someone. I remember when they would say if you even touch the dog or a frog outside or you play, wash your hands, if you touch any pet, you're supposed to wash your hands. They still tell them this. It's widely available information. Hey, you need to wash your hands. Oh, hey, you touch this, you touch the handrail. And I'm not even that kind of guy. You guys know I'm a rancher. I get pretty dirty. I get my hands in there. But there are certain things that you should be washing your hands after you touch. And now that this is the anthropomorphization of these pets. And this, stop finger banging your dogs, you dorks. Exactly. Ugh. Okay, let's cover a couple more stories. Oh, that was fun. I'm not gonna do a live stream Tuesday morning because I'm doing this one. So sorry, y'all. Hold on. Sorry. Stupid fucking thing. I won't be doing a live stream Tuesday morning. We're just gonna go on into Friday. Okay, it's just easier that way. So real quick before, okay, never mind. In this article, which is very, very short, guys, a dog attacked a rabid fox in Lisbon, and now it's got rabies, and they have started isolating it, and apparently they have a serious rabies problem going on out there, okay? And this is in Maine, Lisbon, okay? So, yeah, it's definitely an agenda. I've talked to a couple people about this, and I seem to get a lot of agreement from people, so I'm just going to touch base on it real quick, although I usually try to keep my personal opinions out of things. I think it's pretty obvious that this is part of an agenda and to bring people down, make them stupider. I don't know what it was, word of the day. It just kept popping up along with the article. Ah, boy, oh boy. Let's cover like one more story. I don't even think I have any comedy this time around. I just really wanted to let people know no more Wednesday live streams. I need a clever name for Tuesday morning live streams. Okay, we're getting rid of opening up a can of woof ass Wednesdays. We need a clever name for Tuesdays. So from now on, it will be Tuesdays and Fridays. Dog that mauled woman to death will be euthanized. That's good news. This is as of November 5th, of 2021. Grant County, Indiana. The pit bull that fatally attacked a woman in a home in Grant County last month has now been euthanized. If you guys remember, I covered this story. It was October 19th when police and medics were called to a home on a report of a dog bite. Authorities said 69-year-old Kathleen Bertram had went to sit down on an uneven chair in the living room. IHD covered this too. At the home while holding her 3-year-old granddaughter, and she fell to the floor. When the child began crying, the dog charged in the living room and attacked her as she lay on the floor, biting down on the woman's neck. Medics arrived at the home to find Bertram bleeding from both sides of her neck, and she was pronounced dead at the scene. Marion Animal Control used a tranquilizer on the dog to remove it from the home. It was quarantined, and later it was put down. So that's good news. As of about the 5th, and Tuesday. Yeah, dog was only trying to help. We all know how that goes. Oh, here we go with this that was sent to me by Christian. I had so much good stuff sent to me this week by you guys. I can never be more appreciative. You guys are so wonderful. Okay, this one that you sent me, Christian, we actually already covered. Let's see here. Oh, I wanted to read this one. This is from an anonymous emailer, and this is how we're going to go ahead and end our live stream. This person wrote a great email that I am happy to share. And like I said, they prefer to stay anonymous, and I respect that. The subject of the email is dogs everywhere. Hi, I hope you're doing well. I've been watching all of your videos, and I always enjoy them and hearing what you have to say. I also love the costume for Halloween. On a dog-related note, I went ice skating this week at a new place beside the usual place that I would go. It was really nice, but at the end of my session, I went to take my skate guards off, and this dog was hanging out in the lobby area, and I thought, wow, now they're bringing them to ice skating rinks. It seemed decently behaved until some hockey kiddos were running around, being kids, of course. The dog barks twice pretty loud as the kids run around, and the owner is just chatting it up with some other people. I kind of just put myself into a meditative state as this was going on, because I felt really relaxed after skating, and that makes me feel less on edge, of course. I just felt like mentioning this to you as I notice a lot of Reddit posts talking about this very issue of dogs being literally everywhere, which we were just talking about. I swear I see a dog everywhere every day. It's not generally supposed to be. Every day I encounter a dog in a store too. I was at Walmart the other night. I see a dog walking with its owner. I just ignore it when I'm out, so long as the dog doesn't bother me. But I still don't understand how this is becoming the new normal. I also am very allergic to dogs, not just cats. Okay? And the same high-level allergen I have to cats, I have to dogs. Just wanted to tell you about it. I thought you could maybe mention something about this in a future video. Maybe talking about how dogs are becoming commonplace in places you'd never see them in previous years, and how people have allergies and stuff, and that just gets overlooked a lot. I used to like dogs when I was growing up. I think the owners have made things go so badly with them. I still can appreciate a well-behaved dog so long as it's not bothering me, and it seemed to be under good control when I'm around them. Otherwise, I just want to escape. I want to be somewhere that doesn't include a dog. I just don't care for this dog culture crap. It's so narcissistic and feeds into these people's need to have something to kiss their ass every second. I remember seeing a car in front of me a few months back with a bunch of pit bull stickers on it saying, "My pit bull is better behaved than your children. Also, pit bull mom. Ha ha ha." I just laughed. I took a photo of the back of this idiot's car. Can't believe how these people act. It's getting so ridiculous. It's so abnormal, but it's seen as normal. They're virtue signaling for sure. It is so annoying. I don't see people doing this with other animals except dogs. Have a great night. Thank you, anonymous person. I appreciate that. And to second what you've said, I had that argument, was a great email. I had that argument with that woman on Facebook. You remember me telling her I got kicked out of one of the anti-dog groups. And the girl was freaking out on me. She called me an ableist and a racist. And I Love Four-Legged Plague just made a video about that. I was so appreciative. I said, I'm not being a racist. I'm trying to tell you, so many people are allergic to pets. Okay? She said, right, no one says hamster, Mom. So many people are allergic to pets, I told this woman. And I was never rude to her, never called her a name, but she sure called me everything but my name. I said, look, anywhere off any given highway, there are several hotels, right? Would it be so fucking hard if just one of those hotels was pet-free so people with allergies could stay in it? People that have been attacked by animals don't have to be around them. What's up, Strawberry? I know, don't they? It's so stupid. And this girl's like, ableist, racist. You don't want people with disabilities to have their emotional support dogs and service dogs? And I said, no, I want people with allergies and PTSD from dog attacks to be able to go to 1 out of 7 hotels and be free of them. That's not too much to ask. And she's like, 'cause you don't care about people with disabilities. I'm like, au contraire. You don't care about people with disabilities. All you care about are the people with disabilities you care about. I'm saying both could be done if we had one hotel for people that don't want to be around them, for people that are highly allergic to them. I know at least 2 or 3 people on this channel that are so fucking allergic to these things. Where the fuck do you go? What do you do? You know, I don't know where Asher went. She might have fell asleep. That's right, Vox. You know I agree with you. And exactly, Morpheus. I know. I love you too. You guys are both the sausage of the century. Look, she fucking freaked out on me and called me a racist and ableist and asshole. She said I hated disabled people. She called me a dog hater, which I was like, yeah. And, you know, all kinds of shit. And I'm like, look, you don't have to keep freaking out on me. All I'm saying is the same thing you're saying, except not about the group that you're talking about. It's not unrealistic for me to say that one of these hotels should be completely pet-free for people that are allergic to them. I know it looks like I'm scratching my butt. I'm not. I have this tiny, completely circular rock I found. I've been kicking it. So, and she's like, I can't believe they haven't kicked you off of this page. And I'm like, it's an anti-dog page. Surprised they haven't kicked you off of it, right? And she just, one name after another, she turned me in. The next thing you know, they sent me a message, and then Facebook was like, you're blocked. And I was like, what? I didn't even do anything, right? And I shared the whole conversation on an earlier video. This was probably about 2 months ago. Stupidest shit I'd ever had to endure. So I promised this private emailer that I would share some of my story, and that's a story I have that's very similar to that. And these people, they can't even hear you about it. They don't care. All they care about is taking their dog everywhere. And if I say something like, well, look, there's 7 hotels there. Can't we just have one that they can assure is pet-free? And she's like, they do, but they still have to let emotional support animals in. I'm like, but that's my point. People with allergies can't do anything about that. So couldn't we just have one hotel, just one, where people can go to be away from these things and safe with their allergies? Just one. And she's like, no. You don't care about people with disabilities. I'm like, oh, geez. So I stopped arguing with the lady because she was fucking nuts. Matthew says, I don't know how race can apply to physically handicapped. That can't, trust me. And this chick was obviously young, so I was trying to be nice, but I was fucking sick of it. Yes, we have to be as loud as dog nuts regarding dog-free stores and hotels. Basically, and then, like I said, she blocked me, even though I was like, yo, she called me everything but my name. How in the fuck am I in trouble right here? Just one. There's some people will be like, you got the craziest, because sometimes I do it like this, but generally I go like this. That was how we did it way back in the day. You went like that. Exactly. And I agree with Orc Wrench. One of the final nails in the coffin for me during my dog training and working with dogs most of my life was the owners. I got so sick about it. I said, wait, Ashley, tell me about the one commenter who harassed you on IHD stream. Are you talking about that uwu dude, Strawberry? I'm waiting for confirmation. Ah, my little rock. I believe its name was Uwu, or there was 2 of them at the same time. It was like Uwu and something else. Yeah. That person, God, I'm trying to remember exactly how that conversation went. This is general dog nut harassing. Really, fuck, I get so many of them, Strawberry, I gotta be honest. It's like when people ask me about it, I'm like, you gotta stay badass, dude. Oh, speaking of waves, there's an unrelenting tsunami of trolls that won't leave my channel alone. So a lot of them come from this channel. It's called Vortox or Vortex or something. And it's a whole bunch of like video game nerds, and they get together and make videos about us, specifically Canine Aversion and IHD, and they've started talking shit about me too. And they like go out in little groups, so they get together and they'll have a little video, and then they go like, yo, everybody needs to go harass these people. Okay, well, that's where it's coming from, guys, is almost all from the one channel. Someone actually told me about it. Like I said, it's called like Vortox or Vorks or something. It's just a bunch of dorks. When the person sent it to me, I was like, these fucking dorks. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, looks like a bunch of versions to me, but I don't know. What the hell do I know? So hopefully we had the petition thrown up. I'm going to save the rest of these emails for Friday's live stream. I might do a Tuesday, but to be honest, at incels. But to be honest, I probably don't have a lot unless we just want to come up with a topic and kind of rant to each other about it. I had my hate video, Chef. You remember that? That kid made a hate video about me, and then he took it down. So I don't have a hate video about me anymore. Not that I know of, but I haven't looked for a minute. You guys should make a video of comments. Chef, that's a really good idea Beanie Girl had. You ought to do that. Just make a whole video of people's comments. I usually throw in some dog nutter comments. I'll share one as comedy before we leave here. One day, I had a man find me on Facebook on my personal account, and he messages and says, "You've got to be ugliest hillbilly I ever seen." And he misspelled like every word. And he goes, "Who hates dogs?" That was the only sentence he spelled right. And I said, "Oh, somebody likes me." And he was like, "No." And I was all, "Maybe when we get married, I can buy you a dictionary for your birthday." He said, "Here." And he went back and tried to change the spelling of all the words he fucked up. And he says, I'm sorry, I'm about to start crying. He goes, "You're the stupidest trailer park bitch I've ever seen." And I went and looked at his profile. Oh, I'm so sad we didn't get married. I looked at his profile picture. Hey, he's a total redneck, and he's got 3 dogs with him. And I'm like, or you guys remember the guy that kept coming when I first did my live streams, and he kept calling me Broomstick? And so for the longest time, I used, "See, you're a broomstick. There it is." And I kept going, "Broomstick, signing off." Like, these people don't fucking faze me. And that's what I've said. If you're going to make a channel, you got to be tough. IHD doesn't even look at any of this stuff. You'll see he'll just go delete it. He doesn't comment back. Me, I'll comment back a little bit of shit talking, and then I block them. People like Vox, he enjoys it, right? I would assume he's from a trailer park. Vox will go and harass them. He even tells me one day, like, "Don't worry about it. You've got a channel. I'll go harass these people." Honestly, that's awesome because I don't have it in me. Although sometimes I do fuck with people a bit because it's kind of funny. You guys remember that troll on IHD's stream? What was it? Something Maloney. And everything he said, I was like, "Your dad, your mom." And he was like, "You people are a menace to society." I was like, "Your father is a menace to my genitals." And I was just like, one thing after the next. I just couldn't stop. And then I had to apologize later. I'm like, "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have engaged with that dog nut like that. I should have just shut up." But I was having so much fun making fun of him. I was afraid I was going to, yeah, Mike Maloney. I was afraid I was going to get kicked off of IHD's channel for talking so much shit because I totally did. I said, "I know a dude whose last name is Maloney, and he's got a tiny baloney." And I just kept going. I couldn't stop, dude. I was just, everything he said, he was all, "You're really immature." And I was like, "Your dad's immature." Like, I just, one thing after a next, I could not fucking control myself. I thought about that. "Your dad's a menace to my genitals." I did. I just couldn't help it. I need to grow up. Speaking of which, I'm going to go hang out with my son. I hope you guys all have a great day. I've been laughing so hard that I'm crying now and my nose is running. So I'm going to... Beanie, you were there, weren't you? I had way too much fun. I had so much fun and went so overboard that IHD made a video about it the next day and said, "You guys, don't engage with these dog nutters. And I went onto the video, was like, I'm so fucking sorry, man. I know you're talking about me. I totally did that shit. He was laughing about it too, but it wasn't cool. I need to be more mature than that. All right, guys. To the moderators, I thank you so fucking much. To everyone who sent me stories. We've had them from Alexander, from Joseph, from Moni Tony, from Morpheus, guys, I love y'all so much. Gling, I hope you get some sleep soon. I hope that guy gets locked up and they take those fucking dogs away so you can have some peace. Hey, fuck Fluffy. And until next time, from the bottom of my dog-hating heart, I appreciate you all more than you will ever understand. Good night to all of you. And I will be seeing you possibly Tuesday, but probably at least by Friday. And yeah, peace to everybody. Much love. Thank you. Good to see you, Canine Critic. Everybody take care of yourselves. Good night, Vox. Oh. Pizza. Shut up, rational cleanliness.